Okay, would you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Marcus Baker. I'm 28 years old, I have 3 children. I was born and raised in Portsmouth. I attended high school at Churchman High School, and I did my 2-year degree at Tower Community College, and I'm finishing up my bachelor's in psychology at North State University.
So I saw you for the first time ever at the Craddock Spring Festival, and you were talking to people about a program that you've started. Tell us about that.
Well, I started a program, and it's basically a mentoring program, but I try to get out using the term mentorship and use Leadership Academy or Leadership Institute, because what we basically focus on is leadership and building young leaders. And the name of my program is MANUP. MANUP is a moniker which stands for Mastering and Nurturing Unlimited Potential. So my mission statement of my program is to promote leadership development through the youth, through extracurricular activities, academics, and community service. And my goal is to understand that children tend to follow other children. If we create better examples among the children, then in the future we have better leaders and better adults instead of kids growing up and be stuck with the same bad habits that they kind of developed when they was children. Just try to get in the child's life and let them know how important they are to the community, how important they are to their parents, and how important they are to themselves. And let them know the decisions that they make when they're 13 or 14 years old, they're going to determine a lot of things in life when they may be 26 or 25 years old. And, I mean, it's tough because a lot of kids at this age, they don't understand the importance of doing good in life. They see you come to school, you kind of just do whatever someone tells you, and things usually flow. But why a lot of our kids lose that is when they get out and with their own, when they're not with their parents or when they're not with their teachers or people in the school, and they forced to make their own decisions. And sometimes kids make bad decisions. Sometimes, I mean, of course you can see around this area, a lot of those bad decisions have ended a lot of kids up ending up dead or in jail. So it's a sad cycle, and I feel that the way to put an end to the cycle is to stop it where it's starting at.
What started you thinking along these lines? When did you decide that you had a role to play as an individual in changing the dynamic?
I mean, as a young child, as a teenager, I noticed, I mean, my dad been in my life my whole life. Never, I grew up in a dual parent household, so I didn't grow up, lacking anything. I grew up. Dad kept me in Boy Scouts, church, did a lot of things to keep me involved and keep me motivated. But as I got older and I got the opportunity to make my own decisions, I kind of did things that my parents didn't teach me, morals and things that my parents didn't teach. I kind of developed my own way of life. And through that, I seen that even when I was developing my ways, I had friends who would follow me, and do things that I did. And as I got older and got into more things, I could see my friends kind of trickling and getting into things with me. So, it's always been in my head that I know that people follow people. Everyone's not a natural born leader, and we got to accept that as humans. And the people who are leaders have to accept the responsibility and know that we have to set good examples for the people that's looking up to us or the people who will mimic our ways. And I did a similar program to this at Tower Community College in 2014. And we was working with SAR, which is an organization that stands for Student African American Brotherhood. And I was working through the organization, and I was the treasurer in the organization. My friend was the president. So what we developed was we had to develop a type of training, something to put the young men through in the college that would make them take ownership to the program and kind of make them be more involved. So we came with a 10-step leadership training, and what we was training them up to do was to be leaders within the school on the campus. So when I got here, I had to do a service learning project for school, and I thought about that program, and I had wrote up some things on the MANUP. Basically, I had just kind of created the moniker. I created the moniker, and I knew I wanted to use the 10-step program, and I had to do a project for school, so I used that for my school, for my foundation, for that project. And after working with the kids, the project was 6 weeks. I had 6 weeks to work with the kids. At the 5th week, when I told the boys, we almost done, a lot of the boys, I could see the look in their face. They was asking me, like, what you mean we done? They weren't really liking that, the fact that we were done. And they was asking me, are you going to be with us in high school? How long are you going to, be able to call you? We got your cell phone number. And you know, I explained to them like, you know, I was raised in a big family, so they family to me. You know, I told them, so I said, you know, when you're 30 years old, you need to call me. I'm still gonna be here. You know, so from out there, I seen how well the kids were responding to me, and that's when I decided, you know, I said, I need to try to make it bigger than what it is. You know, instead of just being a little small program here at Craddock Middle, I said, why not try to expand it so that all kids in the city of Portsmouth will be able to benefit from this program.
So how long have you been moving that program forward from the time that you did it as a service learning project to the present?
Now it's been about 12 weeks. It's been about 12 weeks since I first started, and
Uh-huh.
I mean things been moving really fast. You know, maybe within like by the 8th week, I've started learning about nonprofit organizations and you know the benefits of turning my program into a nonprofit status. And the reason I want to do that is if I do nonprofit, then I can bring in bigger donations and sponsors, and maybe even look for some help from the government, and I'll be able to make this program free to all kids. You know, and I'll be able to take on 200 or 300 kids or however much they allow me to do. And so I just now it's just kind of like I got my SSC things done, you know, as far as creating the business. I got my business license, all those things, but now it's doing the process of nonprofit. I mean, which most people know is not cheap and, you know, it's not easy. So, you know, trying to get in that process. And we've been raising funds through fundraisers and, you know, other events we did. But we use most of those funds to fund an end of the year trip, which we're going to be taking this weekend. We're going to take the kids to Water Country on Saturday, and then we're going to stay up in Williamsburg in a nice hotel, and then we're going to take them to Busch Gardens on Sunday. You know, to make it a 2-day trip, because a lot of kids don't really get out of the area. You know, and with so much negativity around this area, I just think that it's important that you take kids out of their environment and show them that, you know, the whole world is not just like this. You know, and let them know how many other options they have in life besides just Portsmouth and Craddock Middle School. Like it's a whole world out here, and you know a lot of kids want to get exposed to it, whether it be parents can't afford it or parents don't have the knowledge of you know the importance of exposing them to things. So that's what I believe my program is just you know to be a help to the parents.
How many youngsters are involved in your program at present?
I started with six 8th graders, and then after the first 6 weeks we added 5 more, so we had 11 now, and I got potentially about 7 to 8 7th graders who will be coming in to go through the program next school year. So I say right now I manage about 15 boys. I got about 15 boys who I communicate with regularly and stay on top of their grades and the test scores and things of that sort.
Is there a selection process that you use, or is it people who select you?
At this point, I'm kind of using not really a selection process, but I'm trying to pick kids who I believe are kind of mature, who can handle what I'm doing with the program. Because like I said, right now, I don't have funding, so everything I do is out of my own pocket or whatever fundraising we can do. So not that I don't want to waste time with a child, but I don't want to waste resources. I don't want to bring a child in who may not benefit from the program as much with the limited resources we got. But I always teach the boys that's in, you know, about spreading the influence. So the boys that's in my group, I use them, you know, in the school to set a different tone in the school and help other kids, you know, develop that same mentality. So I can notice that when my boys are in the school and, you know, they come to school, they dress up on Wednesdays with their shirt and their tie, that we get other kids that want to do, other students want to dress up, other kids want to wear, you know, the man-up t-shirts, other kids want to know how they can be involved with events. And I get kids all the time that come and ask me, you know, what they need to do to be in my program. And the day a student came and asked me, and it just kind of touched my heart, you know, that I got all these students who asking to be in the program, but I can't. You know, if I wanted to, I couldn't because I don't have the transportation, I don't have the space, and I don't have the funding to take on, you know, 12 more kids. You know, when I had the time, you know, I got the energy to do it, but I need some help. You know, I need somebody to really reach out and help these kids along with me.
Are there any other adults working with you on this?
I got my friend Calvin Lynette and Antonio Crawford. They on board. They help me, you know, as far as planning things and you know, developing things for the program. My girlfriend Chanita Booth, she do all my accounting things, you know, as far as with my money, as far as planning trips and you know how we manage the money from fundraisers and She makes sure that when the boys with me, they eat. You know, just basic things. So I got, that'll be my team. It'll be her and my two friends, Calvin and Antonio. They really helped me build this program. Alongside with the boys too. My first 6 boys, I got to give them a lot of credit because they came on and I explained to them what I was trying to do. I told them, I'm looking to build a business per se, so that this program can be around for kids, years after y'all graduated, it can still affect kids for years to come. And, they accepted that challenge at 14 years old. And they don't have problems when I ask them to stay back for school or, I need them to do extra homework. They, whatever I ask them to do, they do, and they really buy into the program.
So how much of your free time does this take up?
All of it. I mean, honestly, I leave. I get out work at 4:30. I get out work at 4:30. Most of the times I don't get in the house before 9. I take the boys. They love to stay back with me. So they stay back. Sometimes we go in the gym. We play a little basketball. The last 2 weeks we were doing SWL remediation. Prepare them for the SWL test, end of the year test. And I mean, like it's so much of my free time. And I have 3 children. My oldest child's 7. I got a daughter that's 5, and I got a son that's 2. So a lot of times when I want to get off work and just go home and kind of spend time with my family, I catch myself spending more times with the boys. And my family, they real understanding of it because they know what I'm trying to build. But yeah, it takes up a lot of time.
Your children aren't envious of the people in your program?
No, I mean my son really look up to the boys. My girlfriend, she love the boys. My family, they more supportive of it because they understand what I'm doing and they see my passion in it. And my family know me. I wouldn't spend my time into something that I don't really believe in. And this group of young men that I got, I really believe in them. I believe that they really gonna make something out of themselves one day. And I always tell them, my biggest reward out of all of this will be for all y'all to be successful. If I never make $1 and all of y'all can graduate and, go to college and live successful lives, then, I take that because it's going to make a better future for not only me and them, but for my kids and for everybody's kids.
So, in terms of raising money, what is your goal?
Now my goal is, I guess I'm trying to raise about $1,500, enough money to try and get my nonprofit status. And once I get my nonprofit status, then I have more freedom as far as going out to these bigger companies and soliciting for funds, asking companies for major donations. At this point, it's kind of impossible for, if I was to go to a restaurant line and they say, okay, I want to donate you $5,000. It's kind of impossible because how the laws go with business as far as giving out donations and so it'd be an issue. So that's my main thing now that I'm raising money for. The first thing that we raised money for was the trip. I really wanted to take the boys on the trip, and that's just kind of like a thank you from me to them, for being involved. And I can already see the impact that we're making at the school and in the community. So I want to let them boys know that they're important, that they really doing a good thing, because you don't find too many kids that's 14 years old who are willing to take their spare time and do something that's going to help another child 5 years from now that they may never see, but they understand the importance of it.
If you hit a big lottery jackpot, what would be your first priority in terms of funding your program?
Get a building. Building with a gym. And it can be the most ran down building. Even if I can get a building with an outside basketball court. I love basketball myself. I love sports. And I know that sports is a great way to bond with kids, I go in the gym all the time and I play basketball with the kids, and it's kind of a chance for the kids to open up and kind of see the person that you really are. I think a lot of times as adults we put on this costume in the morning. We get up and we want to be super mom or super dad or super teacher. And we want the kids to think that we perfect, and we want to try. We want to try to live a perfect life because we want to set these good examples for the kids. But I believe that it's just as much important to show the kids that, hey, I'm a regular person. I mess up like you. I made mistakes like you. I'm gonna continue to make mistakes, and I'm still learning. I always teach my kids the importance of being a lifelong learner. I don't care how much you learn. You can never learn enough. And you'll never know everything. So you can always benefit from the next person. You can always learn something from someone. Even if you got more education than them or you may be older than them, you can always look back, and learn something. And that's what it's about. That's how you progress in life. The more you learn, then the more you can do. So, I really work on pushing that in my boys. But yeah, like I said, my first purchase would be a building, and then maybe after that I look for a van. And my purpose of that is I need a place for the kids to come, and if I can, a way to get them there. Cause what I notice about kids is, even if you say we're gonna meet outside, and we got a tent on Elm Avenue every Wednesday. If the kids want to be there, they're gonna come out there on Wednesday. They're gonna stand under that tent. Kids are determined. As much as people may think, kids are lazy. When kids really want to do something, they determined. If you tell a child, they want to go to their friend's house, they get on the bike, they'll walk, they do anything to get there. So we just need kids to have that same motivation and that same drive about their education.
I saw you yesterday at the Stop the Violence rally at Norcom. What are your thoughts about how this kind of program for children impacts on the problem of violence in the community?
Well, like I said yesterday, the only way to ensure a better future is to, build up the present that we got right now. So, when you talk about stopping violence, it's hard to stop violence amongst adults. But one of our major problems right here is violence upon teenagers, kids 19 years old, 17, 16 years old. They the ones we losing, they the ones who get involved in all these gangs that's really basically throwing their lives away. So I believe my program will be helpful because I can catch kids at a critical time in their life, middle school, when they kind of making a decision of which way they want to go in life. And I can kind of put something in them to help guide their decisions. I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to say something that's going to make every child be like, I'm going to change my ways. But I want to put something in them so, like I said, when they out there, they have to make that, when the child is forced to make an adult decision, they can be like, Mr. Baker wouldn't think this right, or my mom wouldn't think this right, or Mr. Mark wouldn't think this right. I want kids to be accountable for the decisions that they're making. So I know, when a child goes and get a gun and decide that they're going to hurt somebody else, it's a decision that they got to make. And I've even wondered to myself, when you're on the way home to get a gun to come back and shoot somebody, what thoughts are going through your head? And I believe as parents and as, leaders in the community, what we should be doing is putting things in their head, giving them things that, when that 20 minutes or that 15 minutes in between committing a crime, they can think like, this may not be right. This may not be the right thing to do, and this could lead me in a bad direction. So I just really want, stopping the violence. Like I said, I've been a victim of gun violence myself. I caught a stray bullet in the leg at 20 years old. I couldn't tell you to this day who did it. I was just outside and it just was shooting going on. And I got shot. My mom had to come over from North Carolina to come down here to tend to me, and I know that probably was the hardest call that my mama ever got in her life. They had to get a call to say that your son has been shot, and she got to drive 45 minutes to even know what's wrong with me. So, stopping the violence is important to me. I got kids growing up in Portsmouth. I wouldn't want my kids to be walking in the store and a stray bullet strike them or no one else's child. So, with that being said, you got to look to stop the violence in an area like this where there's so much violence. And I believe that the first step in stopping the violence is to teach the kids that is, that is wrong and why it's important to stop the violence and what's going to happen if we don't stop the violence.
A lot of conversations about education in Portsmouth have to do with parenting deficiencies. How do you see your program working to reinforce young people whose parents are not giving them the kind of support that they need?
Well, first of all, we would be a person, we would be an entity where kids could say, where they could kind of express their feelings about their parents. And, getting a child to kind of tell you what's wrong with their parents is going to always be hard because it's hard for a child to notice what's wrong with their parents. I've been with my mom for 13 years and she always put food on the table. She always provided a roof over my head. So how do I go and tell Mom, the decision that you're making is not benefiting my education? We can't. So what we need to do as leaders, we got to get parents more involved, and we need to educate our parents. I looked up one thing the other day, and it's just a statistic that Portsmouth got the lowest literacy rate amongst parents in the Hampton Roads area. So we got less parents than anywhere else who can read and write, and that ain't good. If you got teachers sending home letters or kids come home with homework and the parent can barely read it and understand it themselves, then the kids getting minimal work. The reinforcement at home is lacking. And I know that teachers come to school and they teach kids, but kids need reinforcement at home. If I come to school and I teach them something all day and they don't go home and reinforce it, they're not gonna be as strong at their subject. So I believe a lot of kids missing the reinforcement that they should, because their parents not even educated in what they're doing. And so all we can do with that is try to educate the parents and try to make some things mandatory for the parents. Bring back ST5s. If a student in school and the student not doing good on their test and you can't get a parent to come there, then you give them an ST5. You make the parents responsible.
For those who don't have children in the school system, what is an ST5?
ST5 is when I was in school, it was a mandatory parent-teacher conference. We had parent-teacher conference days, and parents can come at their own leisure, if they want to, and they don't come. And sometimes a lot of the parents that teachers really need to see or want to see, they be the ones that not participate. And it's kind of hard to fix those issues with parents because they're adults. So if we can start to educate the parents now that kind of want the education, the ones who going to be receptive to it, then hopefully they can spread that to the other parents. And when you're giving these good examples to kids, and kids learning about how important the education is, then a child will go home and tell their parent, like, Mom, I really need you to look into this. And in this community, one thing is, I think a lot of people are scared to look into special education for their kids. Because people get, they get down on special education. I want my child in this special class. I don't want my child to be labeled, but we're dealing with a time when kids are dealing with a lot more emotional, mental issues. And, if you don't understand what's wrong with your child mentally as a parent, then you won't be able to help them. I know we parents got to get more into getting our kids tested for those type things, and focusing on what type of dads our kids have when we send them to school, and are they being respectful to their teachers, and how much school they miss, and if they get into school, are they doing homework, are they reading for 20 minutes a day? We as parents, we have to be down on our kids, but as far as the school system fixing that issue, I think the school system put a little too much emphasis on, to me, raising a child. The school got to understand that, the child is here to learn. The child not here for to get another parent. So I just think with that, it's just a lot of drawbacks on both sides, because teachers can't connect with students. And I read one time an article. The article was entitled "Why Parents of Students Enrolled in Urban Schools Why They So Hesitant to Get Involved with their kids' education." And one of the biggest reasons was they can't relate to the teachers. The teachers and their parents come from different places, and they neither one of them know how to accept one's differences. And everybody think they right in the situation. And I believe that people kind of lose focus on the main point, which is the child. Everybody want to be right, and everybody want to be wrong, and everybody want to use their method to work with the kids. But every method not gonna work for every kid. Each child needs something different. There's some kids that may benefit from my program, and there's some kids that come to my program that I recommend to other programs, because another program may be better fit or better tailored to what they have going on in their life. And a lot of that going on in the city too. A lot of competition in the city, and I don't think that's out there. I know you was at the forum the other night, and what someone said was the black preachers have a lot of power. The black preachers have a lot of power in Portsmouth, but even the kids can look and see a lot of confrontation between pastors in the city. So much confrontation in the city. Everything is about getting a vote or getting a position, and I believe that people are just kind of losing track of the kids. We have to build up our kids, because if not, we won't have a future.
So, any specific takeaway that you would want somebody watching this to consider?
Somebody watching this, and especially if they in a position to be able to offer some type of help, reach out a hand. I know a lot of times, I'm still finishing my bachelor's at Norfolk State, so sometimes I don't know if people sometimes worry about credentials, and I don't have a degree yet. I don't got all this evidence-based research they put on the table and say this is what it. But I have influence. I got kids who won't listen. I got parents who won't listen. And I believe the first step at bridging the gap between the school system and the parents is a person like me, a person who could be a liaison, a person who can understand. I can understand the parent who doesn't have education and why they not so serious about their child's education. And then on the other hand, I can understand the educator who knows why this child needs this education and they pushing it to them. And instead of it being, them bumping heads, it need to be a person ready to let them know that we all have the same common goal. We just taking different routes to get there. If we can all get on the same route to get there, it'd be a lot easier. But it's too much bickering and too much confrontation in the city about things that's irrelevant, honestly. A lot of politics, a lot of money, and everybody like I said, everybody wants a title, everybody want to be something in the city. But when I heard the word leader, anything you do leadership, and then I look at the minimal support that I get from people, and then honestly, most of my support I get from the community. I mean, everyday citizens, people going in their refrigerators and people going out to the stores and they buying things to bring to me and help out with my kids, or people making donations or buying T-shirts. But I look out and I don't see no help from the city. I wonder from the city, like, where's the help at? Like, where's somebody gonna say, Mr. Baker, we're gonna offer you this space in this gym for twice a week and you can bring in 50 kids and just play basketball with them, and I'll feed them myself out of my own pocket. I'm looking for that type of help. I've been reaching out to the police department because I know bad relations with the police department in the community, and I've been reaching out to them, trying to get them to give me a venue, give me a place where I can take these kids at, a lot of these young gang members, where I can take them at. Of course, getting gang members together, I need them to be in a place where they can go in and be searched, for my safety and for their safety, and for the people who coming out to work with them safety. And then I need police there. I need police there that's going to be security. I don't need homicide detectives and narcotic detectives out there trying to build a case on kids. Because that's gonna scare them away. That's gonna deter them from coming to even hear the message that I'm trying to get them. And it's just if we really gonna make a difference in the city, somebody got to do some work. Everybody can't sit behind a desk and put on a nice suit and just say, I'm this person, I'm that person, this is my name, I did this, that, and that. I mean, that's not cutting it no more. I understand what people are trying to do, but that's not cutting it no more in Portsmouth. And people don't realize that just talking and putting on a nice suit is not going to help in Portsmouth. Because you can, no matter how nice your suit is or how nice your car is, it's kids dying every day. And I think that some people don't care about it because it's not their kids or it's not their family, so it's not hitting home to them. And that's what's sad, that it takes a lot. It takes for stuff to get worse for people to notice that it's bad. I mean, now, they doing a lot of fuss about gun violence, but guns been in Portsmouth forever. I lost one of my first friends at 13 years old. At 13, at 13, he was 17, he was killed by a 13-year-old, Quinte Watson. This was years ago. I was a child, and a friend was killed. So, back then, it was an issue with kids and guns. I've been seeing guns since I was 13, 14 years old in the community, in the hands of kids. And that's the things that I think need to be fixed in the city. I see on TV they doing all these drug investigations. They want to break up all these drug rings and all this. When's somebody gonna stop the guns? When's somebody gonna stop our kids from killing each other? When's somebody gonna do something outside of a political agenda or to see what they can get? When's somebody gonna do something from their heart? When's somebody gonna get up one day and say these kids are dying, they need help? I'm gonna go in my pocket and I'm gonna help, or I'm gonna get some time, or and I always tell people I need help, and help don't always got to be monetary. You don't always have to hand me some money or something tangible. It's time, it's service. It's coming out and talk to the kids. It's being there to help me rally up kids. It takes a lot. It's coming into the school systems. I've been in the schools. I've been here for 2 years. I ain't never seen anybody from the school board in the school system. I ain't never seen anybody walk around the school system from the school board asking questions or. Where are these people? How do we elect all these officials in the city? And they not in the schools. They not coming into our schools to see what's really going on with our kids, why our kids are losing that. And I believe anyone that's considering themselves to be a leader in the city and they're going to help the city progress, and how do we not help the kids? How do we not help the kids? It's mind-boggling, how do people forget about the kids? But they do every day.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time and for putting yourself out there to make this a better city.
Yeah, and like I said, this song I'm gonna do. I mean, I don't do it for nothing in return. It's what I do. It's what makes me happy in the morning when I wake up. You know, when I get up in the morning and I say I'm tired, you know, I don't want to go to work, but I got my boys from texting me like, Mr. Baker, what time you gonna be to work? I left my shoes in your car, or I left my book bag in your car. You know, that's what brighten my day. That's what's like, cause I know at the end of the day, I know these kids depending on me, and I know what I'm doing with them is really making an impact, and it's gonna change their future. So you know, that's what I'm backing up. I just want some more people to get on board with me and be concerned about these kids' futures just as much as I am.
Thank you again.
Thank you.